Hello there and welcome to another live chapter reading for Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Today I shall be reading from Relic Hunters, Betrayal of the Gods by Martin Ferguson. Chapter 1. Christopher, 5 years ago, lost in a sea storm over the Aegean Sea. Mayday, Mayday, this is flight 1373, I say into the radio communicator as calmly as I can manage. Mayday, Mayday, this is flight 1373. My coordinates and heading are as follows. I look at the readings on the instrument panel and see that every single one is going haywire. The needles on each dial are circling uncontrollably, some clockwise, others anti-clockwise. The compass, the speed, even the fuel gauge all have a life of their own. This is impossible. My attention snaps back ahead of me as a blinding flash of lightning erupts. The deafening crack of thunder is instant, and I fight for control of the small twin-engine plane as it's hit by another blast of wind and turbulence. The aircraft around me trembles, and it takes every ounce of strength in my arms to keep hold of the controls. How could this have gone so wrong? I follow the clues and their coordinates exactly. No storm or ill weather was forecast. But here I am, alone in the air, in the very heart of a tempest. I feel the St. Christopher medallion against my chest and pray that the saint bestows its look upon me now. As if in instant reply, another bolt of lightning blinds me and strikes the starboard engine. Flames erupt, and on instinct, I divert the fuel from the wing and activate the extinguishers. Come on, I yell as I watch the flames flicker and then finally die, leaving thick smoke trailing in my wake. The damage has been done, and now I can barely keep the plane in the air on one engine in these terrible conditions. I can already feel that I'm losing control as the aircraft begins to descend. Mayday, Mayday, I say into the radio room. This is Christopher Hunter, and my plane is going down. Chapter 2. Renee, 5 years later, furious and ashamed, at the Louvre Museum in Paris. The Louvre Museum, one of the most famous collections. It is the world's largest art museum and a historical monument perfectly situated in the heart of the most beautiful city in the world, Paris. Beneath the glass pyramid of the Louvre are nearly 40,000 pieces of art and history. Millions of people flock here to gaze upon the history we have saved and preserved. Now it is under the most grave threat I've ever known, and everything I've dedicated my life towards will be lost. This is outrageous, I rage. This goes against all agreed practices and our rights. You cannot do this. It is our national heritage. It is by order of the United Nations Security Council, Miss Marquette. I'm told by Joseph Brackenridge, a suited, self-important man with a clipboard. He is flanked by a team of officials, all with papers, legislations and orders. Beyond them are teams of armed officers who are sweeping over every inch of the museum. You are to give us full access to your storage facilities and warehouses, he says, though the words barely sink in. Your prized antiquities are not safe here. Under our care, they will be secure. You're boxing up anything of worth or value, I spit with disgust. This is our history, not yours, and we have saved it and made it safe here. Not according to the United Nations Security Council. The actions of collectors and hunters like you have been shown that there is a clear and present need to not only protect these relics, but to protect the world from them. This is madness. Are you seeing this, Renee? One of my colleagues cries. Please stop them. I can only look on in horror as a pair of armed officers tear down the security barriers around the Mona Lisa, one of our most prized and recognisable pieces of art, and pull it from the fixings from the wall. I did not agree to this, I yell. I did not agree to any of this. Madness. You are taking our history from us. Your thugs will likely destroy the art and history which will never be replaced. We had this before when Hitler and his cronies tried to take what they wanted. I cannot allow this to happen. I storm towards the officers, but another pair swiftly steps in front of me, blocking my way and brandishing their firearms in a warning. Failure to adhere to our expectations will not be tolerated, Miss Marquette, the official states. You won't get away with this, I turn around, unable to watch as the monsters tear apart more of our displays. All I can do is warn the others. As I walk away, I make a quick call on my mobile phone. He answers immediately. Renee, he greets me. They've started, Charles, I tell him. They're tearing the Louvre apart. They're taking everything. You know they will come for you next. I know, he replies. We'll be ready for them. Chapter 3. Adam, surrounded, pinned down and under enemy fire. Battlefield, England. Keep your heads down, I yell as a dozen rounds fly over my head. I grab Sarah and Duncan and pull them down into cover behind a low wall. A dozen more rounds strike the brickwork and soar overhead, keeping us trapped. Duncan signals for the others to join us, the paltry few left of our team. My name is Adam Hunter, a 17-year-old college dropout, operative and hunter of historical artefacts for the British Museum. Now, though, I'm at war. What do we do now, Sarah asks as she reloads her gun. We have to push forward. I risk a glance over the wall and immediately 3 rounds ricochet off it and force me back into cover. How far is it? Duncan asks. The prize is beyond this wall, over the bridge and through the trees, I explain. How many of them? Sarah asks. All of them, by my reckoning. We've lost half our team. Where's your madman mate got to? He'll show up soon enough, I say with certainty. I look around the survivors, 4 others alongside Duncan, Sarah and me. Duncan, my oldest friend, and Sarah, his girlfriend, and an old crush of mine, look to me for leadership, as do the rest. They are soaked through, covered in mud, and forced to keep low. We're not much of a team, but we'll have to do. We don't stand a chance, one of them mutters. There's always a chance, I reply, loud enough for the whole team to hear. They may hold the advantage of numbers, but we have the skill, the speed, and certainly age in our favour. We can do this if we work together. The prize is just beyond those trees. We can do this. Certainly can, Gabriel the madman says as he crashes through the bushes and lands among us in a heap. He's in his early 30s with thick stubble and a couple of scars and the usual dark rings under his eyes. His filthy tattered clothes at least match the setting this time. I got 3 of them just now, he says proudly, sticking his tongue out with bloodlust. The odds are shifting in our favour, says Duncan with a grin. Right, this is it, I say quickly as I devise a plan. Duncan, Sarah, you stay with me. We'll circle around to the left of the bridge and through the ditch. The rest of you advance to the right and draw as much attention as you can. Worth the distraction, one of them adds. Yep, I confirm, distract and act. If you meet little resistance, then move up towards the prize. And what about me? Gabriel asks as he reloads. Like you'd follow orders, I chuckle. Too right, he grins. Without warning, he lets out a war cry and charges forward, firing his gun wildly as he runs. You have the strangest workmates, Sarah says. Sure do, I say as I signal for us to advance. We move fast and keep low, with Duncan and Sarah staying right behind me. We use trees, bushes, anything for cover. Already we can hear the others. Creating chaos and drawing the enemy to them. Gabriel does much the same as he wages his one-man war. We move slowly, sweeping round and listening out for the enemy. Clear to the left, Duncan whispers. Clear to the right, I look down the sights of my rifle for any sign of movement. Duncan, Sarah and I keep moving until we reach the ditch that runs parallel to the bridge. Once there, we take cover again and wait. I'm certain I see something, signalling to Duncan and Sarah to keep watch. Soon enough, we see 2 bodies emerge from the bushes and step down into the ditch. One has long blonde hair and glasses, and the other wears overalls covered in oil. They don't see us coming, and we unleash a barrage at the pair. We push on, keeping watch for any intruders, cross the ditch. We merge into a thick hedgerow of trees and keep low and in cover. We stop for a moment, keeping watch and listening for any signs of the enemy. I'm just about to signal Duncan and Sarah to push forward when a burst of gunfire sounds out and rounds pelt the trees around us. Grenades hurtle towards us and we see Gabriel still charging wildly, engulfed in a blast. We pull back under the barrage, but Sarah is hit 3 times and is lost. No, Duncan cries out, firing wildly back until I drag him away. Come on, you fool, I yell as I pull him clear. I lead us away, only stopping once we are safe and in cover again. I think it's just us left now, Duncan says, and I realise that the gunfire in the distance has fallen quiet. Look, he says to me, pointing up ahead. There, it's the prize. He's right, it's less than 200 paces ahead of us, but with little to no cover. That's a long way out in the open, I mutter. We can reach it. Wait, I tell him, wait and watch. The reckless Adam Hunter is advising caution. What's happened to you? We step out there and we'll be gunned down in an instant. The enemy has to come through this way too. Wait and choose our moment. And what if they creep on us in the meantime? I'll take care of that, I reply with a devilish grin. Soon enough, after a short time of preparation, we see smoke grenades hurtle through the air and unleash a thick fog. Here they come, I say as I take aim. 3 figures emerge slowly through the smoke. They are cautious and have every need to be. We wait until they're close enough to ensure we can't miss, and we hit all three with a salvo, eliminating them in seconds. I take particular pride in hitting the tallest of the trio square between the eyes. The former soldier should have known better and stayed in cover. A crack of deliberately scattered twigs alerts us that there are intruders to our rear. We turn and see a thick branch swing across and strike one opponent across the body and throw him crashing back. The traps I rigged work perfectly, but another figure dives clear of the swimming branches and hits Duncan with 2 rounds to the chest. Surrender, I order the person, but they don't stop and instead barge me down to the ground and through the bushes behind. We fall and roll down an incline, but when we come to a stop, I'm on top of the person, pinning them down. I said surrender, I tell them with weapon still raised, and to my surprise, the person instead lifts their head and raises both their and my visor enough to bring their lips close to mine. I see her red and purple hair, and as her lips near mine, I hesitate, and that is my downfall. She shoots me with a single round to the stomach. That's cheating, I say as I look down at the paint splatter. Worked though, didn't it? Emma chuckles as she uses the paintball gun to push me away. Now where is that flag? A whistle sounds out, ending the game. We're out of time, the games marshal announces as we regroup around her at the flag. I'm guessing I have you to thank for those traps, says my older brother Matt as he dusts himself down. Sure do, I reply. You didn't come off the worst though. Both of us laugh as for the others. Abby and Tristram are covered from a dozen rounds from the ambush in the ditch. Dave can barely see with his visor utterly covered in paint from my headshot. Stupid game, Dave says as the rest of us laugh. Gabriel looks the worst though, caught perfectly by the grenade and almost covering him in yellow and green paint. That thing came out of nowhere, he laughs. They are my team. Echo team of the British Museum. Matt is the leader, the golden boy as I call him, who always seems to excel at whatever he puts his mind to. Emma Lovell is an operative like me, around my age, with short red and purple hair. Dave Conway, former combat medic, is our no-nonsense on-site support. Abby is our brilliant historian who knows more facts than any encyclopedia. Tristram Hill is the museum's technical whiz, and Gabriel Quinn is a sole member of the museum's Bravo team, and will give the Mad Hatter a run for his money in the crazy department sometimes. And they've all come together to celebrate Duncan's birthday. I hope you enjoyed this chapter reading and that you'll go check out the book. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.